Hi, you're looking at a close-up of Antoine Knight. Hey, this is Antoine Knight, saxophones. This is a close-up of me, the man, the entertainer, and the music. I have this notion that when I'm on the stage that people are gonna love me, people are gonna dig what I'm doing. And I guess it's like what I'm doing in my mind is that I'm doing a playback of what is actually gonna happen. And you know, it's the confident builder that I have in myself that I know exactly what I'm gonna do when I do it. And from it, all I can do is just give it 100% to what I have to offer when I'm on the stage. Why the saxophone? I don't know. I guess it comes to when I was growing up as a child. I used to listen to Motown a lot, and it was the Motown sound of the horn that really inspired me. And from it, I just had a passion to want to learn how to play the instrument, and here I am today doing what I'm doing. And it's funny that it all started from an old tape I used to listen to, just hanging out with my cousins and my auntie back in the day. Looking at the instrument, it's nothing but a metal and brass. And when you pick that instrument up and blow into it, it becomes a spirit. And that spirit is something that really touches hearts and really touch lives. And I'm just glad that God has given me the ability to do that. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
First song was off my album called Night Drive. But we gonna do something everybody loves. Y'all love Stevie Wonder, right? Oh no. Y'all like Stevie Wonder? All right. Take this about.
Really developed my experience from being in this group called Marty. I mean, it was 4 guys, you know, Antoine, you know, Mark, you know, on bass, Reggie on the keys, and this Todd Bethel on drums. And from it, I developed my skills as being a leader. I developed my skills as being the front man and how to really take control of the show and to demand the attention of the audience. And it was just something, I don't know, my journey is almost synonymous to, I guess you can call, you know, Beyonce and Destiny's Child. You could even go back to, you know, the Commodores with Lionel Richie. You can go to, you know, Diana Ross and the Supremes. All those people started out and they developed their show into who they are as an artist. And, you know, God rest his soul, and, you know, Michael Jackson with the Jackson 5, I mean, that is really what put him into the orbit of being the greatest entertainer ever. I can say for me in my journey, that experience is what shaped me to who I am now as an artist. I would really have to template myself behind Grover Washington Jr. I mean, you know, there were a lot of great horn players that were coming up, like in the traditional era of Cannonball Adderley, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane. But listening to Grover Washington Jr., I mean, he was like the pioneer of the modern day sound for horn. You know, he was someone that was applying the music of that day and make it contemporary and made it something to where people can really gravitate towards as far as saxophone. And I really think that really paved the way for the rest of the smooth, you know, instrumentalists that are out now, you know, like quote unquote, you know, the Kenny G's, but, you know, Najee, you know, Gerald Albright, you know, Kim Waters to Everhart. I mean, the list goes on, but you got to go back to me where it started from, and the first person that I really idolized and that I would template myself behind had to been Grover Washington Jr. You know, when I produced my album, it was something that I felt needed to be done. Another fellow artist told me that, hey, look, Antoine, when you out there playing, you sound great, but when people get into their cars and drive home at the end of the night, they're going to put on a Boney James or what have you, and you're going to be forgotten. Having an album, having a product, it'll allow you the opportunity to give something to people and put in their hands and put in their cars that they can put in their cubicle in their office. And that's when Blow the Horn became to life. The title came from a pastor, you know, Pastor Andre Landers. I'm a member there, and I'm a musician at Higher Living Christian Church. And he was saying in a sermon one time that God's words were so profound that in the Bible, men had to print it in the red. And that title in the red was just, I was just so taken by that. And I said, yeah, that is the title of what I'm going to do. And radio stations loved it. And, you know, my church friends and comrades and people that I worship with, they really loved the idea too. And it sort of braced both the umbrellas as far as inspirational and instrumental. Saxophone is really the closest thing to the human voice. And, you know, when you hear the sax out there, you know, in music, in any genre, whether it be jazz, R&B, gospel, or whatever, it's a voice. And it's a lead voice that people just really like to gravitate to.